Hey guys, how's it going? ItZMuRdA here with a patch note overview for the Halloween patch, as I guess a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, maybe just me, are calling it. It is the game update on October 2nd, 2014. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on, so I'm going to run through the patch notes. I'm going to show anything that I can that I feel like is particularly relevant to a hands-on example or what have you. I'm going to tap in-game and show you guys that. As always, give me your feedback, what you like, dislike, I'm looking forward to, and so on and so forth. But I'm pretty excited about it, so I can't wait to get in game and play it. I'll be streaming it over at ItZMuRdA.com immediately following the creation of this video tonight on Thursday night, and then again, tomorrow, Saturday, so on and so forth. Going after some Halloween directives and so on and so forth. So. Before I get into it, the one thing I want to say, just a brief, kind of short, quick, maybe partial announcement for those of you that don't know, and I don't have my hands on the codes yet, but the my polar bear decal that you can see up in the top right-hand corner of the screen right now, I believe all of the YouTuber, streamer, SOE, PlanetSide partners that do the shows like the one I do, L2PS2, on Monday night on PlanetSide 2 official channel. I believe the patch today included all of our actual decals of our logos in game. So I think they're in there on the back end now, and we're just waiting for the codes to be supplied to us that we can then give away. So that's really awesome news, really exciting stuff for me personally and for the channel. I am honored and humbled and really proud to be able to kind of announce that officially, even though I know some people have been talking about it for some time, and Shackle found them in the notes a while ago and stuff like that on PTS. But that's awesome. So I just want to say thanks again for SOE, for supplying that to us, and allowing us to kind of be immortalized a little bit in game as a decal with our logos. That is super cool. And then a step further, I will be using them as giveaways both on the L2PS2 stream and my own stream, maybe on Twitter. They're going to be an item that I'm hopefully going to be able to give away to you guys with some decent frequency and regularity. So I'm really excited about that. Additionally, as I've announced a few times on my stream, just kind of casually in passing, I am going to also be able to give out a decal code, or at least my plan at the moment is to give out a decal code to every past, present, and future subscriber or moderator on my Twitch channel. So it's not really like I'm not trying to make it like oh well, here you have to subscribe or whatever in order to get it, but it's more of a something a little extra, a little fun, like as an additional thank you for whether you've been with the stream for so long, you're a moderator, or whether you are one of the subscribers that do support the stream in that way. So that's not going to be the only way to get it, but that is a surefire way, because I think that mods and subs generally take the extra step to help support me and my efforts in my channel, and I'm happy to give back by giving you guys, as I said, past, present, and future. I'll be sending you, Twitch PMs most likely with them once I have the codes in my hand. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully you guys are too. And then if you're not a mod or a sub or whatever, don't worry. There should be plenty of giveaways and things like that, and chances to get your hands on them as well. So thanks again to SOE for that. I talked about that way longer than I intended to, but I'm pretty stoked about that, and I hope to have my hands on them pretty soon. As for the actual patch notes themselves, this is kind of just like a funny lore bit on Nanite of the Living Dead, the essentially the October or Halloween event in game. I'm not going to reread that through for you guys, but as far as what you can expect to see in game, going on through November 9th, so you've got just over a month to take advantage of this stuff. There are going to be a handful of new essentially helmets or skulls or masks or so forth, some that are Empire specific, some that are NS, some that have different variations of the same helm for different empires, and due to their, well, let's just hop in here, and you can take a look at them yourselves. Due to their very Halloween-y nature, and not really fitting with the normal PlanetSide theme, if you will, they're only going to be actually usable during the event from today, October 2nd through November 9th. And then, of course, if you buy them or whatever, you will have them in your inventory, as it says here in red. This item is only usable during the Night of the Living Dead events. It will remain locked in loadouts for the rest of the year. So whenever that event is turned on, be it next October, 2015, or if they do, I think they did an Night of the Living Dead like a one-day event at some point last year. Either way, whenever that's turned on, you can equip the helmets, of course. But in the rest of the months of the year, you will not be able to. So just keep that in mind if you do purchase them or anything like that. But they are really cool and look pretty awesome for what that's worth. If you haven't had a chance to check them out already, there's various glowing skulls that I don't think exactly preview now. They don't preview nearly as cool as they actually look in person. For all of them, you can buy them with station cash for relatively inexpensive, I'd say. I guess that's due to the fact that you can only wear them for part of the year, or pumpkin seeds. And I'm gonna show real quick. Literally just 10 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago, David Carey posted this hot fix that they're lowering the seed cost across the board, with the exception of the black flaming skull. Every other one got pretty much halved, or maybe even knocked down a third in price or more, or a tenth. The face paint going all the way down to 25 seeds. The brain chassis and the Ichabod down to 100. The Inferno skulls to 250 and the Spectrum skull to 300. So if you are choosing to purchase them with seeds, you may just want to hold off a second. That should be going live momentarily. It might actually be live already if I relog. But you can also purchase all of them with station cash, with the exception of the black skull, the Skull Noir. That being said, if you're somebody like me who's going to want to try to min-max the hell out of it, my first purchase with seeds will be the black skull, since you can only buy that one with that currency, and then from there I'll probably maybe buy a few with station cash, maybe buy a few with the seeds. Something that I'll probably want to buy early on and most likely spend station cash on would be the new gun, the candy cannon, and the slasher knife. Slasher knife, same as any other knife, just a reskin of it, part of the Halloween directives, which I'll get onto in a second as well. And the candy cannon being like the snowball gun and flare gun before it, although it is slightly different. And I will hop in here real quick to show you guys an example of what I'm talking about in VR. Candy cannon, so you're looking at 3 rounds in each magazine as opposed to the 1, which is pretty cool. And it actually has a pretty fast refire rate. So take that for what it's worth. It's not going to be as viable, if you will, as your regular pistols, but if you compare it to like the Deep Freeze or the flare gun, which have the same stats, you're looking at double the muzzle velocity, 3 times the mag size, and more ammo in reserve. Pretty similar reload, slightly slower, and lower damage per shot but better fall off, as well as almost double the fire rate. So I think that could actually be pretty fun. I mean, it's a 2-shot headshot, I believe 3-shot body shot at max damage range. Even at that range, I almost killed the infill. I got the heavy pretty low, so that could be pretty fun. I think it's a lot more forgiving than the other holiday pistols before it. So, and of course I'm hardly on the highest graphic settings and has some pretty crazy effects nonetheless. So have fun with that. As for the knife, you can equip it right in here. There isn't a way to actually hold your knife out at the moment for extended duration, so I believe that is planned for a future patch. But at the moment, that's the only way to look at it, or when you swing it for that brief second. Beyond that, I believe I can, preview some of these guys, although unfortunately I don't think you can see it in the UI, so you'd have to look at somebody else's flaming skull like this guy to actually get the full effect of what you're looking at, which is pretty cool stuff. And you might be able to understand a little bit why they're only accessible for part of the year. Get some Terminator action going on, along with other new helmets too. So there's your cowboy hat. So keep an eye out for that stuff as well. There's your pumpkin head and Frankenstein's face paint. For what that's worth, I guess I can't preview those. So anyway, that's that with the changes in cost. And then to explain a little bit more about the pumpkin seeds, there is a new alert type, pumpkin hunt, that will pop up like any other alert. And I believe they said they're actually hot fixing back in the old alert style as well. So it's not only going to be pumpkin alerts. And basically oh, there's an alert sound. There you go. Seek and destroy pumpkins on Amrish. Hour-long alert as per normal. I'm gonna just run away from these guys so I don't have a ton of stuff going on in the background here. But basically, during the alert, you win it by destroying the most pumpkins that are spawned on the continent. It's 1 hour, triggers at random intervals. Pretty straightforward as per normal alert. But if you're familiar with the ItZMuRdA Snowman event from last year, there's going to be pumpkins spawning throughout whatever continent the alert is on, and then killing those pumpkins will give you the ability to get seeds. As you can see here from the last sentence, find a space pumpkin, destroy it, and bring the seeds to a designated drop-off zone. You'll get a reward. So that's how you get the seeds from destroying the pumpkins, participating in those alerts, and of course that's kind of part of the reason why I imagine they brought down the seed cost for some of these items, since they were. If you wanted to collect them all, especially on multiple characters without spending any station cash, it was probably quite the feat with the old values. That being said, there are also some visual changes to mines and sticky grenades. I guess I can make my way back a little bit, as well as some new horns available for purchase. There's actually additional horns, like for ESFs and things like that have never had a horn before, but I believe there are also, some new holiday themed or Halloween themed horns as well. For existing vehicles like Harasser, Flash, and so forth that have had horns for quite some time. Oh, I have drifters on. That's pretty funny. So feel free to go and check those out on your own accord. I don't want to run through absolutely every possible new thing that was added to the depot, because there is quite a few, but there's a lot of exciting stuff in there. I will grab a sticky and some mines as well. There's the candy cannon slasher that I was talking about. You'll also notice that there are some new, I'm assuming temporary base name changes to some bases that are alright, well the sticky nade just laughed at me, and it looks like a little pumpkin. There you go. Couldn't quite get the graphic last time. Since it was in the wall, I'll grab a mine as well. Alright, just kidding, that looks like a normal mine. Where's the other mines? Alright, so does that. I guess I should have done my research. And mines. Do I have to blow them up? There was a sound effect there. I don't know if that's all it was or not, but there was a sound effect. Take that for what it's worth. Anyway, it's sometimes the issue with doing this the second I get home from work, and I haven't really had a chance to explore some of the stuff yet. Anyway, the other part of the Halloween event is the temporary directive, and I will get into that in here in just 1 second because I want to go over the directive updates first. But that is something that I'm going to be striving to complete on at least my 3 Emerald characters over the next month here, so that should be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll even do an L2PS2 episode kind of devoted to that. This coming Monday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on the PlanetSide 2 official Twitch channel. So as for directive updates, you can track progress on the HUD. You can take a look at a summary screen. There are progress bars added to various places. There's better tooltips. There's a new tree for leadership and mentorship type stuff. There's a new events category, so I'm assuming other world events and seasonal events will have trees eventually in addition to just the Halloween tree. There's also some adjustments mainly to some of the more pain in the neck ones in the objectives tree, as well as the spotter ribbon count in the Force Recon tree. So let me just show you guys that real quick. Directive window looks totally different here. I'm actually really happy with it. I like being able to see my progress on my character here up front. Like if you're familiar with achievement systems from other MMOs and whatnot, it's taking on that sort of form a lot better now, as well as 6 that you're essentially close to. I'm not close to any on this character since it's a character that I don't really play. But if I was, 149 out of 150 kills with something, that would show up here. Or likewise, if I was tracking specific ones, they would take priority as showing up here as well. If I wanted to track healing ribbons, I can just, and revive ribbons, I could hit that button, and then that also pops up over on the left-hand side of my screen above my map, the ones that I'm tracking. And you can track up to 6 at any time here, and untrack, or they'll automatically untrack once you complete them. Here's some additional progress bars, like under each category here. You can see the addition of, well, first of all, the changes to objectives. I don't know how obvious it'll be on a character that hasn't completed any, but the addition of the leadership based on the ribbons that were added recently, such as mentorship, platoon and squad leading, drill sergeant, and so forth. All 5 of these have been retroactive, so if you've been gaining credit towards them over the past month or so since they've been added to the game, you may already be starting further into this achievement, and you get a Araxium shaded NS Commander unique skin of a helmet for completing that, which is actually pretty cool. So that's not something I do a whole lot of, the whole squad platoon leading thing, but I might need to at least encourage squadding up with viewers a little bit more often. I'm always willing to, but it's not something that I take as much initiative on as I should, so might have to get some squad ups going on for some leadership directive. But anyway, here's the events section with currently only the Halloween objective, or directive tree rather, as the only one that's in it. It is limited time, so you can only complete this during the Now Night of Living Dead event until November 9th. So if you are interested, naturally the numbers are tuned as such, so that you have an easier time completing it in only a month's time. But I would get on that. You'll also notice, I don't believe, no, these other ones don't have cert rewards yet, but you'll also notice that for the first tier, not only is it 5 points, but also 50 certs. For the second, it's 10 points and 200 certs. For the third, you actually get the White Skull unlock, which is pretty cool. And then for the fourth, you get the space title before your name, and an Araxium shaded version of that slasher knife. So it's somewhat simplistic in scope. Collecting Halloween masks is just one of them. Obviously, I already got credit for that. I don't know if that's a bug in VR or if I did purchase one and I wasn't realizing it. I'm not 100% sure, but whatever. Smashing pumpkins, obviously, is just killing the pumpkins that spawn during the alerts. The Recto Lantern is destroying the very rare Galacto Lantern. Kind of reminds me of the Golden Snowman. I'm hoping not quite as rare, especially if it's tied to this directive tree progress, although it might be, especially since you only need to complete 5 of the 6. And then there is killing enemies wearing masks while you're wearing a mask. That's pretty straightforward, as well as kills with the candy cannon and kills with the slasher knife. So yeah, you do have to purchase them. You don't have to use station cash. You can use the seeds, and then completing some, 5 of the 6 to the fullest. I don't actually know off the top of my head what the amounts are, but they're not quite as extreme as the other ones. You're not going to be expected to have to do Araxium the slasher and Araxium the candy cannon, I don't believe, during this 1 month event. But anyway, that's here. I'm going to be focusing on that tonight for sure, getting as much of it done as I can on at least one of my characters, and then moving along to the next. I definitely want to complete it on my 3 Emerald guys before it's over. So I love that sort of stuff. Really looking forward to it, and I also really enjoy the directive changes so far to the UI. I think it makes a lot more sense. It's a bit more intuitive and everything like that. Moving along from there, arguably the best change of the patch, and something that we've been asking for and wishing for a really long time, is the change to the optics. Now, there's a few things you'll notice. You'll notice new NS scopes across the board. You'll notice new red dot variants, basically, for 1x and 2x verticals. And you'll notice this thing, which is my favorite. All scopes 1x through 4x have been updated to be dynamically drawn as opposed to being static geometry, better representing where the weapon is aimed when moving, firing, or flinching. What that really means is, if you're familiar with it, beforehand, a lot of the time folks would have trouble staying on target when they're strafing, because as you can tell, my scope is bobbing up and down a bit. If you look at the the outer portions of the scope, the red dot at the center of my screen is staying completely 100% still. So that is awesome. So now if you're strafing, if you're crouching, if you're getting hit by flinch from enemy fire, your red dot is going to be at the center of where your bullets are actually going. The bullets always behaved like that, but the red dot would bob with the object geometry, and it would kind of give off the perception that you were firing in a place where the bullets weren't actually going, if that makes any sense. It was by a relatively small amount, but it definitely could make a difference. There was a good video probably a year and a half back that showed that example with some like stop motion going on. And a lot of players, myself included, have kind of trying to take measures to focus less on our reticule and more on the center of our screen when we know we're moving like that, especially with a faster, like 0.75 strafe speed weapon or something like that. So really, really happy to see this change. I may actually continue just using the red dot since I like it and I'm used to it. But even if I don't pick up any of the new scopes, that's a huge change for me, something I'm really excited about. But just to show you real quick, the 2X variants and the 1X variants are pretty much the same across the board. I'm trying to think if there's any differences. Like for instance, the 2X is going to have the box around it. But as far as the new specialty stuff goes, like the 1X yellow versus the 2X yellow, the 1X is just a yellow dot. The 2X yellow is a a dot with a circle around it, if you will. But I believe the others are more or less the same. This star pattern is one of the new 1Xs. There's a 2X version of identically the same thing, and same for the diamond, identical for both 1X and 2X. And you'll notice it'll, they'll stay steady with whether they need to grow with bloom or move with recoil. And then there's also the mil dot, which is the same for 1X and 2X alike in a green variant. That's totally a personal preference. If you guys have anything that you particularly like, I think I may end up staying with the 1X and just enjoying the new change to the scope movement. But as I said, that's totally a personal preference sort of thing. I'm really glad to see that the options are there and that they're offered regardless. And then if I just grab a NS weapon real quick, you'll see all of these scopes are different. This is the 1X red dot for now. I think the general consensus is that it blocks your, I don't want to call it your peripheral because it's not really, but that it's really bulky. It looks really cool. It looks very NS, but for all practical, intents and purposes, it's bulky. So there's not really any way around that. That's just an NS scope. The only one that's the same as it used to be is the HSNV scope. There are alternatives offered. The yellow dot as opposed to the red dot, the purple cross, the green box, the purple chevron. I mean, there's different things that you can go with, but they generally still have the same overall. And this is a 2X, so it's a little bit less bulky as far as vision and pairing. I think they look pretty cool, but I think in terms of practical usage, they might be a little bit more, I don't know, you might miss out on some valuable information from time to time, if that makes any sense, but there's not really anything you can do about it since you can't switch out Empire-specific scopes for NS scopes, and I think that inconsistency was kind of a little weird anyway, so it's probably a good change. It's just, you'll have to get used to the, if you're used to NS weapons, you'll have to get used to the new scope design and potentially having a blind spot on enemies on your corners, or at least the corners of your scope. Moving along from there, flash improvements. I could totally probably pull one. Really glad to hear about this. The long and short of it is that the flash handling has been improved substantially to where it's supposedly nigh impossible to flip itself over. Which we've heard before, but from what I could tell from Higby running with it so far on Higby Please yesterday, it's in a pretty good spot. It grips the ground pretty good. I don't know how much that'll change my. So even there, I came back from that. Like, you would never come back from that. You hit pebbles and flip over in the live game prior, so that's really cool. It seems like it has a lot more gravity to it almost. I won't pretend to know what Kevmo is doing, but I'm glad that he did it. I might just need to adjust a little bit since I got so used to driving it beforehand, but hopefully the handling characteristics will still feel pretty much the same. You just won't flip it quite as often. You'll notice the seat on the back also is the other change, the 360-degree rumble seat. So you can now actually look over your driver's shoulders. You have your full 360 going on there, which is a pretty nice update, I think, in that regard. I didn't see the harasser in the update notes for it, but I know Higby had spawned one last night and was talking about it, so I don't know if the changes to the harasser went live. One way or another, they were planned for the same thing, the improved handling and 360-degree rumble seat, but it doesn't look like they went live with this patch. But I would expect to see the same changes here in the really near future. But as you guys probably know, Flash is my favorite vehicle, so I'm definitely excited about that. Experience reward changes. I'm going to try to not, just dwell on stuff so much because there is a lot in this patch. I don't really want it to be a 45-minute long video, but basically control point captures are now going to be 4 ticks of EXP during the capture, as well as guarding it will grant EXP every 20 seconds, resulting in more EXP overall, as well as just incentivizing playing on the cap point rather than just flip it and then the cap point doesn't matter as far as staying in range per se. Likewise, kills while in range of that will earn you like a defense bonus EXP. And Higby was talking about potentially changing the cap system in the future to take much longer to cap a point, but actually when the point is fully capped, then you own that base rather than you cap it quickly and then it starts a timer. I don't know if that's going to go in or whatnot. I'm sure there'll be extensive testing, but this is kind of the framework for a system that could work like that. Multi-kills now rewarded at 2 kills within 1 second, down from 3. A domination bonus rewarded at 2 consecutive kills against a player without being killed by that player, down from 3. So you should see multi-kills and dominations a bit more frequently. Nemesis bonus also increased in EXP, as well as a revenge bonus. And killing a max, this is pretty significant. 200 EXP bonus up from 20. Deploy bonus is renamed to transport assist for people getting kills and whatnot within a couple of minutes after leaving your vehicle, and it was also doubled in EXP up to that of a normal kill, and likewise with driver assist EXP for when your gunners get kills. Support grenade assist you'll see too from EMPs, flash, and concussive grenades. Assist EXP if a target's killed while under the effect of your grenade, and ribbons and medals for such have been reworked as opposed to trying to get kills with a concussion grenade. So the days of the concussion grenade being near impossible may well be over, but nonetheless that probably makes a bit more sense, and maybe I'll get it someday now. Likewise, with destroying a vehicle, whether it has passengers or not, is going to count as a kill credit for all weapons and most directives. So I think that's a good idea. If you've got, their example here with a fully crewed prowler of 2 people plus the prowler is considered 3 kills. Yeah, I don't say that that's a bad change. I know there was some inconsistency with like metal credit before for killing certain deployables, so it probably makes sense to just bump it up across the board and count vehicles for that as well. And you'll still get credit, in the case of somebody bailing out or suiciding or whatnot. Spawn kill changes, kind of controversial as I understand them, since I think they're only implemented in part at the moment. And if I had one negative thing to say, or potentially negative thing to say about the patch, I would say maybe they should have waited to implement all of them as opposed to other changes will be in a later update. But nonetheless, spawn kills are 0 EXP across the board, as well as upping that time from 10 to 12 seconds after somebody spawns before they're not considered a spawn kill anymore. And upping their EXP earned from 5 to 100. So I mean, unless somebody kills somebody, they're pretty much a spawn kill within 12 seconds of them spawning. And then 2 weeks ago, I think it was, on Higby Please, he had said, well, that effect is negated, if they basically take an action. So I don't know if that went in or if that's planned for the future, but I think that made more sense, so that if somebody started shooting at you, even if they didn't kill you, even if they didn't earn any EXP, that they would no longer be considered a quote-unquote spawn kill, which gives you no EXP, no kill credit, no nothing. So I think if somebody's in a firefight with you, they should be worthy. So that was my only concern, is that a lot can happen in 12 seconds if you're just like completely, essentially worthless. But otherwise, I mean, I don't spawn camp much, and I don't have much tolerance for being spawn camped. I usually just go somewhere else. So I don't think it'll change a whole lot for me personally, but I can understand some of the contention on the issue if it's only partially implemented. But they also said in a future update, freshly revived players not counting as a spawn kill is planned, as well as removing them from awarding credit towards kills, medals, ribbons, or directives, which is why I was saying, well, if it's like a 12-second or 100 EXP flat, I feel like, folks who are actively engaged in combat should be negated from that. But anyway, we'll see how it gets implemented over time. But I think it'll come together a lot more once all of the changes relating to it are implemented and not just part of them. Cloaking fixes. So this is good. Lumifiber particles disabled while stealth. There was some of that Lumifiber armor, or gold-plated armor, that could definitely be seen through stealth from time to time. So glad they changed that. There is somebody randomly shooting at my harasser. Let's run off into the distance again. In addition to that, they finally streamlined across the board for low, medium, and high graphic settings. Infils or cloaked items should look exactly the same, in addition to improving performance and visual quality on low, which was previously kind of the issue. I know it's been kind of a back and forth battle of, oh, they're easy to see on this setting, they're hard to see on that setting. So really glad that they finally got that all straightened out, as well as fixing some bugs with things being visible when stealth, both in terms of the flash and the infiltrator itself, when in fact they weren't supposed to be. You've got some of the stuff you've probably seen on work in progress. I'm not going to run over there at the moment, but you've got 4 bases on Hassan that have been redone in this patch, so that's pretty cool, as well as numerous bugs with the level design. Your balance changes are two items affecting the striker and the carve. So basically, the striker change is that it can now be dumbfired, and it's no longer able to lock onto targets. And while in flight, the rockets will automatically lock onto hostile aircraft as they pass by within range. You can think kind of Coyote missile-like. I don't know, people were pretty up in arms about the change in the chat last night. I haven't really gotten to use it. I'm not going to weigh in on it. I don't really use the striker as it is. I think it's an interesting and rather drastic change, but you guys can tell me how much you like it or hate it. But it is what it is. Also, buff the carve, LOL. This, I think, kind of almost more of a joke than anything. Slight reduction in horizontal recoil on the carve, but you can count it as a buff if you'd like. I guess the other thing that I should show a little bit would be new voice packs that have been added to the depot. I know Higby demoed them last night on Higby Please. I don't have quite the same ease of access to do so. But you'll notice a few different packs here. And, some Arnold themed, if you will. You guys probably cannot hear that well at all. But the thing I would recommend is personally going through in VR, or you might not even need to be in VR to at least demo certain things, or maybe even Googling them or whatever that might get more before you purchase them out of it. And there'll be different ones. It looks like, I think, 2 for each empire, and different for male and female as per usual. So that is something to certainly consider. They are on the pricier side, $12.50 base, but they are extremely high quality. And they had voice actors come in, even some popular voice actors that are known for other things and whatnot. So Higby's demo is a lot better than mine, since I'm not able to just grant myself all the different ones, and I don't think switching 6 different characters right now is really in the interest of time. But you can certainly check them out yourself. I'll probably pick some of them up. They are really, really high quality, and I'm pretty happy with them. As far as that goes, there are also, as I said, new horns available for ESFs and for the Galaxy, which may or may not sound like a whale. And then there are a new set of country flags in the depot. All of these countries here. that are listed: Denmark, EU, Ireland, Norway, Scotland, Spain, Sweden, Wales, and Belgium, and that more flags are coming as copyright processing occurs, and the dimensions of them are already planned to be fixed. You can see them. Just kidding. All right, there you go. See, so yeah, they're a bit squarey at the moment, but that'll be fixed. But they're here among other things in the depot. In addition to that, the 50% membership bonus EXP has been moved from the Araxium tier to Copper tier. That basically means as soon as you subscribe, even if you've only been a subscriber for a day or an hour or a minute, you'll get the 50% bonus rather than having to have accrued 6 months to get it as you previously did. So that's good. Cert cap raised to 50,000 for members. I think that's awesome. Something we've been asking for a bit. I don't know that I'll let it cap all the way up to 50K. Maybe somebody like Scourge will. I probably have something to spend before then, but I definitely could benefit from going over 10K, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then the other controversial topic, non-members no longer will gain the passive certs, the 12 certs that you would get while offline. They've done it because it's not communicated effectively as a general login incentive, and it also makes becoming a member a little bit more desirable. I don't think that it's a big change one way or another personally. I don't think it's really going to be a big difference for anybody, but I think it'll be perceived, and I'm sure it has been already, as a big difference. So if it was me, unless there's technical issues that I'm unaware of, I would have just kept it the same, because you never really want to take away things from people. They're going to make a bigger deal of it than it actually is. They're going to feel slighted by it. I don't know, that's just my opinion. I would have rather them kept it as is for them, as opposed to taking away even just 12 certs. But take it for what it's worth. There are even more incentives to becoming a member now. And I always thought membership was worth it. So if you are considering it, it's got my vote, absolutely. In addition to that, AMS cert for Sunderers is now auto-granted. You don't actually have to cert it even as a passive. The 50 cert points have been refunded if you owned it previously. Different feedback on impact audio for vehicles as far as bullets, whether or not they are heavy or light fire, so you know if you can really kind of take damage from it or if it's dangerous, as opposed to somebody just pelting you with a carbine or something like that. You can use yell chat while you're dead. The outfit message of the day shows up in kind of the bottom middle of your screen when you log in, as well as a notification in chat. Corrected some issues with inviting players to platoons. I do kind of want to show you the tower, but I wonder how quickly I can get to a tower here without a go away command. But while I'm redeploying here real quick, they added a timer to the death screen to show how much longer you have before you can no longer be revived, so that's pretty cool, as well as moving the indicator closer to the spawn buttons. Named based on our hero of Araxis. I'm still waiting for Clegg's Landing, but I think it's like currently named something else for the sake of whatchamacallit. Yeah, Sleepy Hollow, for the sake of Halloween. That's one of the Halloween themed base names at the moment. Do I have a tower that is nearby any of these bases? Woolcook Watchtower, sure. Fly on over there. In addition to that, energy bridge terminals like Heyoka Chem Lab, the bridges that you can hack, no longer can be neutral, and they can be flipped by any class, but infills with hacking certs can obviously do so much faster. I think that's a good quality of life update. Mosquito and Prowler texture updates, circle shotgun style reticle on the Flash Renegade shotgun, unique icon for the squad logistics system for the Valk. Increase the range at which your quick deploy location resets. Previously, it would change if you died 300 meters from it, and now it's 400 meters to give a little bit more flexibility. Updated login queue page for full zones and servers. And bug fixes are a lot of... There may be one or two in there that's worth mentioning that I can't remember off the top of my head. There are a lot of simple things, strings, animations, level design related things that were off here and there. So you can certainly read through it if you'd like, but I'm not going to go through it entirely myself. I'm just going to really quick hop on over to Woolcook Watchtower because this video is far too long, and show you guys the new tower spawn shield layout. because I'm a fan of it. It was something that I kind of was thinking, you know what, if they just brought these shields out, I think that would make a lot more sense a while back, so I'm glad they finally did it. So as you can tell, at the side of the quote-unquote hallway of death, you've got your 2 shields there, and then you've got one at the head of the stairs over here. So instead of it just being here and here, defenders of the tower can now, you know, kind of pop down from the spawn and have a little bit more, you know, can get a little bit braver, have a better angle on enemies, as well as numerous ways to exit the spawn room, including still the top room and the back room. So hopefully that will deter spawn camping in towers a little bit more, although we're seeing more and more points move out of the actual tower as far as capture goes, probably along the same line of thinking in that regard. Whew, okay. Way too long of a video, but that's what happens in large patches. So I hope that was enjoyable, whether you just kind of listened to it or watched it. A lot of you guys have probably gotten to play with it so far, so I'm going to hop on and stream here momentarily, check out the Halloween directives, check out the new stuff, and kind of give some live feedback as we go along. But thank you guys for hanging out. If you watched it live or if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope it did help. Please feel free to ask any questions that you have, clarify anything that I may have you know, misspoken on, or anything like that that may have changed since the patch notes were released, as well as let us know what you like and dislike and are looking forward to, what you're really happy about, what you think you know they could have maybe done differently, and I will see you guys over at ItZMuRdA.com. I'm going to be streaming as much as I can here most nights of the week, especially during this Halloween event. I want to, you know, I really enjoy those little extra, you know, moment-to-moment gameplay enhancers, if you will, such as the Halloween directives in the event. So that should be a lot of fun. I haven't actually gotten hands-on with a pumpkin alert yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you guys have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful holiday. I know it's not quite Halloween yet, but I will see you guys around over at ItZMuRdA.com. And thanks for tuning in. Have a good one. Take care.